outside of the federal building in Los Angeles, California, where people are protesting in an end Jew hatred protest. People are protesting against the ESMC. Hold on, let's pause for a second. What is the ESMC? The ESMC is the Ethnic Studies model curriculum that California is being required to develop. The curriculum is meant to be a guiding document for schools to adopt and teach about different ethnic groups. Pertaining the Jewish section of the curriculum draft, there has been a lot of controversy. There has been not one, not two, but 3 rewrites of the Jewish section. The first 2 drafts contained blatant anti-Semitic stereotypes and didn't accurately portray the American Jewish experience. While the first draft of the curriculum has come a long way to today's draft, many still do not feel properly represented. Different individuals and organizations are aiming for California's Governor, Gavin Newsom, to veto the current curriculum so that there will be another rewrite to the Jewish section of the curriculum. I spoke with Michaela Pelta, a high schooler from San Francisco who actually went with the Stand With Us team to speak on behalf of getting the first draft vetoed and rewritten.
I had like a whole legal team to brief me on the first one. So not only were Jews basically excluded from the curriculum, I think they were mentioned once or twice, but on top of that, there was actual problematic material. I've taken ethnic studies before myself. There was no mention of Jews. If we're making a new ethnic studies curriculum, because there already is one, why not get it right?
Well, it's true that many of the issues from the first draft have been resolved, and the third draft, other issues have surfaced.
I am working with a prominent Jewish organization to try to implement some replacement language. So I'm very familiar with it. The ethnic studies curriculum follows the format of critical race theory, and Jewish people do not fit easily into that format. There's a huge emphasis on privilege when it comes to Jews having white skin. I can think of so many times where even Jews with white skin are also being regularly discriminated against. For example, the Orthodox community. I don't mean to say that white skin doesn't afford privilege, but there are many ethnic groups that have people with fair skin. And so to single out Jews as being privileged, I think it's completely inappropriate. Anti-Semitism affects all Jewish people, regardless of skin color. You know, if conditional whiteness had anything to do with anti-Semitism, then our ancestors wouldn't have been slaughtered.
The current third draft touches upon Jewish ethnic subgroups, how the KKK viewed Jews, and more. However, there are still important topics that have been omitted.
Left-wing anti-Semitism is not mentioned. I identify on the left, and that is why I find it so frustrating. This whole curriculum focuses on white supremacy and how anti-Semitism lives on the right, but it doesn't acknowledge it on the left. We have the omission of Jews being persecuted in the Russian Empire. That was extreme persecution of Ashkenazim. We're talking mostly white-skinned Jews. And leaving that out feels very purposeful. Then we have the Holocaust being kind of skimmed over. You know, when we look at Holocaust education in California, it is so lacking. 32% of millennials and Gen Z believe that fewer than 2 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust, and 13% believe that Jews caused the Holocaust. This is in California. This is a state that requires Holocaust education. Clearly, it's not getting through.
Concerns have also been brought up about how teaching such a complicated subject in such a simplified manner can lead to issues.
As a teacher, if there's something that I'm not comfortable teaching, if there's nothing that I'm not familiar with, the first thing I'll do is flip to the back of the book and look for these suggested lesson plans. I was going through some of the curriculum. It has some like lesson plan suggestions. It's totally talking about how when Jewish people immigrated to America, they changed their last name so that they could gain social status and have like all these incredible opportunities, as you and I both know, not true at all. And so that lesson plan, I'm sure, will be like the first thing that they go to try and introduce this subject. I think it's perpetuating stereotypes that are dangerous, that have caused harm.
The writers of the current curriculum have made it clear that a lot of time and effort have been put into the teachings and that they stand by the current draft.
We need to give credit where credit's due. Policymakers in Sacramento have worked very hard to clean the document, take out content that was harmful to Jewish communities. And look what happened as a result of that. The initial drafters, they've removed their names from the curriculum. They don't want to be associated with it. So that should speak volumes. It may not be perfect. I don't know if there's such thing as perfection, but we're okay with it.
We are overall very pleased with the current state of the curriculum. It is a dramatic improvement from the first draft.
While those who oppose the current curriculum recognize all the time and effort spent on it, they still don't feel properly represented and do not want to settle. On March 17th and March 18th, the California Department of Education will be presenting a final draft and a summary of public comments to the State Board of Education.